Hello, hello. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to remind our participants rather that our national virtual training conference will start at exactly 3 p.m. today. So while waiting for the other participants to appear, it would be ideal, I guess, for all of us here to greet or mabati yung mga kasama natin dito sa ating national virtual training conference. Again, I am encouraging everyone to tell us the institution where you are affiliated with and also to greet your fellow participants here. Okay, just to remind again our participants who are new to this session that we have rules that you are expected to follow. We have number one, the opening of camera is recommended. Two, always mute your microphone. Three, use headphones or earphones. Four, find a seat or location that is comfortable and well lighted. Five, it is advised to wear business or smart casual attire. Six, finish the whole virtual conference and complete the evaluation form for you to get your certificate. And seven, always direct your concern through personally message or PM on our page or our email address so we can provide answer to your concern. We are still viewed in YouTube at the official channel of POMI. And again, I am Mr. Jose Brian Casella, the Vice President of PICE I-21, and is the moderator and host for this event. Welcome to the second part of the first day of our National Virtual Training Conference on Digitalization of Education for the 21st Century Researchers and Educators. This morning, we were able to listen and absorb a great discussion from Dr. Gilbert C. Magulo Jr. on a topic, Innovations in Digital Research Methods. Dr. Magulod is the University Director for Knowledge Management of Cagayan State University. Just to have a brief recap, Dr. Magulod was able to guide us on the easier way to conducting mixed method research. He has provided us some of the online tools for review of related literature, for retrieval of information, online tools for statistical and ethical purposes, and on qualitative data gathering and quality assurance tool. So, while again waiting for other participants to appear, allow me also to greet some of the participants here in Zoom. We have Ma'am Erlinda D. Palomera. Good afternoon po to all from Mindoro State University, Calapan City, Oriental, Mindoro. Good afternoon po, ma'am. We also have Sir Donald Montenegro. Good afternoon, everyone, watching from Surigao del Sur State University in Tandag, Surigao del Sur. We also have Ma'am Maria Rona Sahagon. Good afternoon po from Laguna State Polytechnic University, San Pablo City Campus. Marhay na hapon sa Indogabos. Greetings from Bicol University. We have Emil Brunyoso. And we also have Ma'am Reza May Sangco. Good afternoon, everyone, from Surigao del Sur State University. Imelda Carpus, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone, from Arellano University, Ligarda in Manila. We also have Sir Leo Tugunon from Leyte Normal University. And Ma'am Ivy Diaz from Surigao del Sur State University, main campus in Tandag City. Okay, we still have many participants expected to appear. And with that, I guess it would be ideal for us now to officially start our session since it's already 3 in the afternoon. Okay, from one great discussion this morning, we will now proceed into another session. This one is equally interesting and very timely for us educators as well. For the second part of this training conference, we will have a topic on digital transformation, the future of digital education. So before I formally introduce to you our speaker, let me remind you again that you are expected to effectively and responsibly use the chat function in raising your questions. You can write your questions or insights while our speaker is having his discussion, but expect it to be answered during the question and answer portion. We will be having the open forum after the speaker's presentation. And to those who would like to personally ask questions, you may also press the raise hand button and we will be notifying you ahead if you're recognized. Thank you. It's time for me now to introduce to you our afternoon speaker. Our speaker for this afternoon is a seasoned trainer, innovator, and educator in the field of digital education. He has conducted several trainings and talks in different local and national agencies and universities in the country. With his contribution in the field of digital literacy, he was awarded as Iconic Professor by the World Education Awards. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering in Western Institute of Technology and his degree in Industrial Operations and Management in Institute of Technical Education or ITE in Singapore. He took his Masters of Management in Information Technology and was awarded with highest distinction at Philippine Christian University in Manila. At present, he is finishing his Doctor of Philosophy in Technology Management at Carlos Hilado Memorial State College. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year after his successful first talk here in PICE I-21, allow me to welcome Engineer Joel B. Garcera as he will discuss to us digital transformation, the future of digital education. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Sir Jose Abrian. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for that very generous introduction. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so I believe without further ado, let me just share my screen right now in order for us to start the discussion. But before anything else, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our colleagues coming from the academe, of course, from state universities and colleges, our ma'ams and sirs of this generation. Thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, our co-members, our colleagues, our partners from government sectors, our hardworking government employees who are with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, our fellow educators and researchers. Good afternoon, everyone. So let me just share my screen for the meantime in order for me to formally start our discussion. All right, give me one moment, please. There you go, sharing my screen right now. All right. So, ma'am and sirs, if you have questions later on, just feel free to lodge your questions on our chat box. For the meantime, we will read it aloud and share to everyone, and we will address the questions later on, probably after our discussion. All right, as mentioned earlier, this particular session is still part of the Philippine Institute of 21st Century Educators virtual national conference entitled, or the National Virtual Training Conference on Digitalization of Education for the 21st Century Researchers and Educators. This is, for me, this is considered essential and timely nowadays, where our educators are probably doing everything they could in order for us to deliver education in the most efficient and the most effective manner. So, as mentioned earlier, I am Joel Garcera. I'm a computer engineer by profession. I'm currently connected with the ICT Literacy and Competency Development Bureau of our Department of Information and Communications Technology for Western Visayas Regional Office. I'm also an educator. I am a part-time lecturer at the College of Engineering at Western Institute of Technology. So please allow me to share and impart knowledge in terms of digital education. As mentioned earlier, our topic for this afternoon is about digital transformation, the future of digital education. So I believe it would be essential for us to understand digital transformation. For me, and for, I believe, for most webinars in the country, not only in the country, but globally, hot topic for most webinars are mainly relevant to digital transformation. Let me explain that further later on. But for the meantime, we are for this session, we will explain, or we will discuss, and we will focus digital transformation towards digital education, right? So here, please allow me to share my advocacy for the meantime before we start the formal discussion. Please watch this. Give me one moment here. Let me just, all right, let me just maximize my volume. There you go. Thank you. Please, I will take this opportunity right now to share this advocacy in terms of digital literacy. Thank you. I am Engineer Joel Garcera, and I'm a training specialist too for ICT Literacy and Competency Development Bureau. As we are all aware that all of us are adjusting in the new normal way of life right now, and most of our physical activities may not be feasible due to the health limitation and health restrictions mandated by our government for our own safety. Our goal for this activity is to help us adapt with the demand of the new normal technology right now. Let us learn something new today and turn any circumstances that we may have into a productive one. Let's join us and participate in this training workshop, and let's work and move together towards a more digitally empowered society. All right, dear educators, our goal for this activity is to help us adapt with the demand of the new normal technology right now. So I hope we can achieve that goal after the session, ma'ams and sirs. All right, so basically our discussion will revolve around digital transformation and digital education. Maybe you have questions right now, the same question like probably with other participants. Why do we need to understand digital transformation? Why there's a need right now to understand digital transformation? Why there's a need to understand digital education? Probably this is our questions of why. Why there's a must for us to have this virtual national conference about digitalization of education. I hope I can answer all those questions. I hope I can answer all those whys before the end of the session. All right. So moving forward, ma'ams and sirs, I would like to at least give you insights about digitalization across other sectors of our society right now. With all humility, ma'ams and sirs, right? I just want to, my goal right now is to give you at least a wider perspective. What are the perspective of our national government agencies, particularly or across other sectors of this society? We were able to conduct, ma'ams and sirs, our dear educators, we were able to conduct a virtual technology that's part of the digital tourism campaign of our Department of Tourism. That only means, dear educators, that our Department of Tourism, this national government agency, is heading towards digital transformation. In which aspect? In the aspect of digital tourism, right? Not only that, why did I say, or I said earlier that we are heading towards digital transformation across all sectors of the society? We were able to conduct a talk in our Department of Trade and Industry entitled Digital Economy, right? That means our trade and industry, this good agency of our government, is heading towards digital economy because there's a need for our people to understand digital economy. Not only that, our Department of Trade and Industry is heading towards digital businesses and digital consumers. Ma'ams and sirs, as you are aware right now, I'm sure you are familiar and you were able to experience this. Most of our Yes, most of our businesses are being converted to digital platform right now. Right? I will give you a logical example. Before, we used to call 1-800 dial to order for food, right? But now the entire ecosystem of ordering food, most probably, right, are being done in a single, or are being done in an application, in where digitalization of information and transaction are being done, because our businesses is moving towards digital transformation. Dear educators, right? I'm sure you would agree with me right now, and I'm sure you already felt that we are into digitalization. Right? Why? Because businesses will not survive, ma'ams and sirs. Our micro, small, medium enterprise will not survive if they will not adopt what we call digitalization. That's according to the Department of Trade and Industry. And even we were able to conduct digital literacy and talks in terms of digital consumers. Right? Not only that, to complete the package, we were able to conduct talk with the Department of Labor and Employment, the talk entitled Digital Workforce. Because if the tourism sector will go into digital transformation, the business sector, our economy, and our society will go towards digitalization. What will happen to our workforce if they are not digital literate? That means it will be, or our workforce will be considered obsolete. There will be a gap in terms of manpower skill set, right? So this is the perspective of our digital, or of our Department of Labor and Employment, dear educators. If we will set this into one package, that means these national government agencies across all sectors, across all walks of life, are moving towards digital transformation. That's why we are campaigning. I'm part of the bureau right now, and where we are campaigning for digital literacy. I'm part of the ICT Literacy and Competency Development Bureau. We are campaigning for digital literacy in all sectors of our society, and most particularly with the education sector. And where, if you could remember, ma'ams and sirs, our government educational institution, namely the Commission on Higher Education, including our Department of Education, if you could recall, these government agencies released a memorandum encouraging our state universities and colleges, including our private schools and institutions, to adopt what we call blended learning, right? Because this is the most efficient and this is the most effective way for us to deliver education. And adopting blended learning, ma'ams and sirs, is a big part of what we call digitalization, and a big part of the perspective towards digital transformation. I'm so sorry if my terminologies right now is something strange. I will, or probably not familiar to most of us, but I will dissect, or I will probably explain one by one in order for us to have a brighter picture and in order for us to understand these terminologies. But one thing I would like to prove a point right now, ma'ams and sirs, before moving to my next slide. I wanted to prove a point. We need to act now because our society is moving towards digitalization. And how to do that? The first step is for us to understand digital transformation in the field or in the sector of education. Because if we are empowered, if we are digitally empowered, ma'ams and sirs, we can teach our young minds, we can teach our students, our kids, on how to properly and how to use digitalization in their own advantage. Right? I'm sure you are aware that there are a lot of gaps right now. There are a lot of even complaints to our dear parents that they said that online class is not that efficient, online class is not that effective. Why? Because there's still a gap. We need to train our workforce. Particularly, we need to train our dear educators to deliver online education in the most efficient and in the most effective way. There. So all of this will definitely boil down in one package, ma'ams and sirs. We are, even though you like it or not, even though we like it or not, we are heading towards digital transformation. These national government agencies are into that perspective, right? So moving forward here, let me explain before we will go to digital education, because I believe this is a prerequisite that we need to understand first. What do we mean by digital workforce before we explain the details about digital education? Here, according here, digital workforce are the impacts of COVID-19 right now have ramped up the pressure on cost and productivity for many organizations. This new environment is accelerating the need for digital transformation and creating immediate and large-scale workforce and skills challenges. Give me one moment here. Let me just double check if we can get my pointer in order for me to give me one moment in order for me to point or essential text or information on screen. There you go. There. Nice. I already have my pointer. According here, ma'ams and sirs, our dear teachers, our dear educators, right? Digital transformation, there's a need to accelerate digital transformation and to create immediate large-scale workforce and skills challenges. If you are familiar, most non-government organizations, right, and even institutions and organizations advocating or with the advocacy of digital education is promoting to adopt what we call digital transformation, because there's an immediate need, ma'ams and sirs, in order for us to deliver education in the middle of pandemic, right? How can we deliver efficient and effective education, ma'ams and sirs, if as teachers, as educators, are not well and properly trained in terms of digitalization? So this is our goal right now. This is the goal of our activity in terms of digitalization of education. Not only that, here, why? Because the workforce should be trained to be empowered, or should be empowered towards digital transformation, because this is our perspective. We are heading towards digital economy. Right? As mentioned, what are these? What are the parts of digital economy, ma'ams and sirs? What are the parts of economy? Our tourism sector, our education sector, our business sector, our manpower or workforce, our government sector, right? Even in the government, we are always doing webinars and talks, ma'ams and sirs, about data-driven governance, in which the government sector are being taught on how to use digital data so that we can expedite and streamline government transactions. We are doing that. That's part of our bureau, ma'ams and sirs. Even the government is heading towards digitalization, right? Because in the general context, we are heading towards what we call digital economy, ma'ams and sirs. According here, this is according to ADB Institute, or the Asian Development Bank, to give credits to, of course, to the owner of this information. Digital economy refers to a broad range of economic activities that use digitized information and knowledge as key factors of productivity and efficiency. I highlighted the words digitized information and knowledge because this is the widely and commonly used factor in terms of our economy right now. Even in business sector, Using an app, you can order food. Then that means we are using digitized information in sending messages that we need this food, we need, or we already processed our payment, right? And you need to deliver this particular purchase. Even in the retail sector, we are fan of Shopee, ma'ams and sirs. I'm guilty about that as well. We are fan of Lazada, right? Because the normal process, or the conventional process right now, are that we have before, like going to the mall, shop, and doing physical activity, something like that, are being hindered because of the restrictions in terms of mobility. That's for our that's for our own protection and for health safety reasons as well, ma'ams and sirs. So the most safest way for us to do transactions is using digitized information and knowledge, right? Even though we like it or not, again, ma'ams and sirs, we are heading towards probably 5 years from now, 10 years from now, all the conventional and traditional processes and transactions that we have right now will be converted into a digital format, right? Here, I'm so sorry. I really wish to give you the insights first before we move to digital education, because I really wish for all of us to understand why there's a need for us to study, or why there's a need for us to understand digital education. I would give you an analytics, ma'am, and sirs. In the IT or information technology perspective, we call this data analytics, and where I will share accurate information according to data statistics. This is, I believe I also presented this before. This is according to one of the most reliable source online, wearesocial.com, or Hotsuite to give credit. This is dated January 2021. This is the data about digitalization around the world. If you could notice here that the total population of the world is 7.83 billion. Urbanization rate is 56.4%. If we will compare it to the total internet users, ma'ams and sirs, and you probably will skip the mobile phone users right now. If we will compare the total population to the total internet users around the world, that's equivalent to 59.5%, or an enormous number of people using internet services, right? That's a total amount of 4.66 billion. What are these people doing online? If you might wonder why, dear researchers or dear educators, what are these people doing online? Why there's a massive number of people, including me, including you, all of us, why there's a 4.66 billion. What are these people doing online? One of the reasons is because these people are conducting digital education. People are actually included in the academe or in the educational sector. These people are teachers. These people are educators like all of us. These people are students, because we are taking advantage of internet services to deliver education in the middle of pandemic, globally, worldwide, not only in the Philippines. Right? Moving forward, here. There's a massive increase, ma'ams and sirs, from, if you could notice, from January 2021 until from January 2020 until January 2021. I believe in the health crisis that we have, this is the peak of what we call pandemic, ma'ams and sirs. January 2020 is generally the start of increase of cases until January 2021. If you could notice, there's a massive increase of additional, or there's an increase of human being on Earth. That's +1, or equivalent to 81 million. If we will understand analysis, I'm sure our dear researchers will definitely agree with me right now, because if for researchers like us, dear ma'ams and sirs, we wish we are always dealing with facts, right? So here, the total population of the world increases to 81 million, but there's a massive increase of internet users around the world. That's a positive 7.3%, or a total of 316 million. Why? Why there's a massive increase in just a span of 1 year, according to data analytics, ma'am, sirs, our dear researchers, right? Because people tend to use and to take advantage of internet services in all in all transactions and processes, and mainly because of educational processes, right? Because educational system, ma'ams and sirs, are being done online. There you go. And there, let us take a look at the statistics in the Philippines. This is digital, same source, one of the most reliable source, of course. The hot suit, we are social.com. This is the digital 2021 for the Philippines. This is data analytics captured last or updated last January 2021. According here, there's a massive increase of, or there's an increase of 40 or 110.3. I'm so sorry, it's not an increase, it's actually the total population of the Philippines as of January 2021, that's 110.3 million. But if you could notice in the Philippines, there's with this 110.3 million, 67% of our total population is using or are using internet services. That's a total of 73.91 million. What are these Filipinos doing online? If you might wonder why, ma'ams and sirs, right? During the pandemic, what are we doing online? First and foremost, delivering education for our dear teachers, researching for our researchers, right? Online transactions like e-commerce. We are fond of live selling, right? Online transactions, online payment, and electronic bookings for our tourism sectors. What else? There's a lot, because most of these businesses are converted to digital format. That's why we have a massive increase, or that's why we have an increase in percentage of Filipinos using internet services. Here, this is the answer of Wise earlier, right? Daily time spent on media. These are the statistics of of Filipinos, right? What are we doing online, right? First, let me read. Filipinos are using internet in all devices. Filipinos spend watching probably broadcast and streaming live videos, most probably streaming webinars and talks, something like this. And of course, live broadcast using social media. That's 4 hours and 15 minutes, right? And other activities online like playing video games, listening to broadcast radio, and your listening to stream or music streaming like your Spotify, and of course a lot more platforms, right? If you would total all of this average, ma'ams and sirs, it's almost 10 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, calling our mathematicians right now. Okay, this is almost 12 hours a day, ma'ams and sirs, to prove a point. That means Filipinos are using internet services almost 12 hours a day, half of a single day, right? Why? Because our perspective is open right now. It's good to know that our perspective is open towards digitalization. Moving forward, overview of internet use in the Philippines. Let me check if this is applicable to everyone. Probably I will skip this for now in order for us to save our time and to use our time in the most essential part of our discussion. Here, let me just move my pointer. There I go. This is what we call digital change. As mentioned earlier, ma'am and sirs, I sincerely apologize for using terminologies that others may not be able to understand. Yes, because I believe these terminologies are not yet widely or commonly used, right? But please allow me to explain what are these terminologies all about. This is our digital change, not only in the Philippines, but globally as well, ma'am and sirs. We will start with what we call, this is applicable to education sector as well. We will start with what we call digitization, right? Please don't interchange the terminologies, ma'am and sirs. We will start with what we call digitization, right? Then we will evolve or we will move to the next level, which is called digitalization, right? Afterwards, then if we were able to adopt digitalization, then we will be in the top or we will reach digital transformation. So these are the common words that were interchanged. With the talks, for example, I will join a certain webinar or certain talk. These are the common words which are considered or which were interchanged, right? So please, at least we will have an idea what are these words all about. Okay? We will start with this is the cycle or this is the level of what we call digital change. We will start with digitization. Next, proceed to digitalization. Next would be digital transformation. Let me dissect each terminology. Okay, let me explain one by one, ma'am and sirs. Okay, digitization, according here, is the transition from analog to digital. In the educational sector, probably I will focus, of course, we will focus with the educational sector right now. I was able to explain this in the context of the business sector as well, ma'am and sirs, to our dear MSMEs, to the micro, small, medium enterprise. But right now, I would focus in terms of the educational or in the academe, right? Digitization, according here, from transition from analog to digital. That means before we are printing out our exams, our quizzes, right? We are writing it or we are using physical format or paper format before giving it to our students. Right now, in the level of digitization, this physical format or this paper format of our quizzes, and our probably performance tasks, right, or assessments, if we were able to use or if we were able to convert this to digital format, like giving them our students into PDF format, into Microsoft Word format, to Google Word or to Google Docs format, then we are in this level, ma'am and sirs, digitization of education, right? And where we were able to convert the paper format into a digital format. Before giving the assessment to our students, we don't need to give the physical printed format, right? We just need to send the digital format. Then we will consider ourselves or we will consider the institution into the digitization stage. All right. And next would be digitalization. This is improved business process by leveraging digital technologies, right? What do we mean by this in the educational perspective or in the perspective of our of the members of the academia and sirs? Digitalization, that means if we were able to send the PDF format to our students, right, via email, via Google Classroom, via Messenger, at least we were able to communicate, we were able to send and transmit the PDF, the digital format to our students. That means we are in the stage of digitalization because we were able to do a certain process and sending and transmitting the digital format, right? This is the difference between digitization and digitalization, ma'ams and sirs. If we were able to adopt a certain process, right, and delivering the digital format, then we are in the level of digitalization. How can we be considered, or how can we consider our institution in the level of digital transformation? According here, leverage emerging technologies to build new business systems, business models, consumer and employee experience, or student and teachers experience, right? If we were able to deliver the entire education and as using a single application, using a single platform, then we are in the level of digital transformation. That's why, ma'ams and sirs, we have the learning management system, right? That's why most of the institutions are adopting this LMS, right? If you are familiar with other schools, state universities and colleges, they are designing their very own LMS because that traditional and conventional format of delivering education is being converted to digital format, right? That means we will give quizzes, we will give all the assessments, we will give feedbacks, we will give uh, uh, most probably for your feedbacks, grades, and all the likes in a single platforms. That means we are in what we call digital transformation stage, right? In our institution, I do have friends teaching in Manila right now or in the national capital region. In the institution, they were able to adopt the what we call the HR management system in the institution. They also have their cashier management system. They have their enrollment management system in all of this MS or the management system because they wanted to adopt entirely what we call digital transformation, not only in the conventional uh, delivery of education, right? In the digital delivery of education right now, ma'ams and sirs, we have the readily available learning management systems right now. There's a lot to mention, right? But then I saw some schools in Metro Manila or in the National Capital Region, their enrollment is the payment, including the registration are being done online. They are using an enrollment management system, right? Although this is not probably this is not in the perspective of educators. Probably this is in a top to bottom perspective, ma'am, sirs. If we will talk about management now, this is a top to bottom perspective. However, if we have the chance, if we have the opportunity, right, to suggest, to recommend to the top management, please do recommend. We need to dedicate our resources towards digital transformation. Probably we do have your school administrators right now. We have your school decision makers, principals, and other top rank officials. Ma'ams and sirs, I would like to encourage you from the bottom of my heart, please do adopt digital transformation in delivering education right now. Nothing to lose, right? This is a win-win. Yes, this is a win-win suggestion, ma'ams and sirs. We need to invest. We need to dedicate our resources. Right? We have a talk, just before moving to the next slide, I would like to share this. We have a talk with a group of the presidents of the state universities and colleges. They actually set a meeting with us in the bureau to talk about before that was, I believe, October last year, right? And where the schools is about to open or the schools are about to open. However, these administrators, the school's president, they don't have any idea or they don't have the technical knowledge on how to deliver education online, right? So I believe, I am confident that our top ranked managements are considering adapting digitalization in education. There you go. Here, let me just, okay. Okay, I'm checking the chat box. I believe everything is clear until this time because we don't have any question on the chat box. So please allow me to continue. There you go. As mentioned earlier, this is about digitization. The next level is digitalization, and the higher or the top most level is what we call digital transformation. Here, ma'ams and sirs, our dear researchers and educators, digitization includes, as mentioned earlier, from analog to digital format. That means the digitized information and organization of information. That means, for example, our assessments, our quizzes, our performance tasks, our major exams, right, are before are being done, right, in a paper format. And right now we are giving it to students in a Microsoft Word format or in a PDF format or in a Google document format. And the response or responses coming from our students are being stored and saved in Google Drive or in a USB port or USB flash drive, or USB drive. That means we are organizing this information, digital information, into a single platform or in a single storage. That's part of digitization. However, if these as digital assessments, right? I will use assessments na lang, ma'am, sirs, because these are common practice and procedure in our educational or in the educational process. Anyways, if we were able to automate, what do you mean automate this digital format, ma'am, sirs? If we were able to send it via Facebook Messenger, if we were able to send it to the students via Google Classroom, via other portal or other platforms such as email, then we were able to automate the digital copy, right? That's part of digitalization, right? Then streamline processes, right? For like checking, we already have if you are familiar with Google Classroom, ma'am, sirs, right? We already have what we call automatic checking, in where the teacher or the educator or the professors will just encode the correct answer during in that particular platform or in the Google form. Then upon submission, the students can automatically, or the system will automatically generate the score, and the student will automatically be informed about his or her performance during the assessment or during the exam. That's part or logical example of what we call to streamline processes. That's part of digitalization. Next, here, to transform the entire institution, right? To transform the entire institution. What do you mean transform? As mentioned earlier, some schools right now, ma'am, sirs, in the National Capital Region, they already transformed the entire educational process from enrollment, because they already have enrollment management system, from payment because they accept online payment, from registration, and all of these conventional educational processes, including delivering education, giving their quizzes, giving their grades, giving the registration forms, and all the likes, right? Let me read this. Digital transformation is a series of deep and coordinated culture, workforce, and technology shifts that enable new educational and operating models and transform an institution's operations, strategic directions, and value proposition. I believe these are self-explanatory, ma'am, sirs, right? So please right? So at least we have the brighter perspective, or the wider perspective. I mean, what do we call, or what are we expecting, right? What are the digital change that is happening right now in our society, particularly to the educational sector? Why? Why this digital change is happening, right? So let me paraphrase. Why is it happening, right? Why do we need to adapt, or why there's a need for this digital change, right? Because of this, please allow me to read. The COVID-19 pandemic underscores the importance of digitalization for economic and social resilience. COVID-19 is restricting mobility and economic activity around the world, and the Philippines is no exception. As mobility restrictions and social distancing measures limit face-to-face interactions and activities, the availability of affordable digital technologies has emerged as a key determinant of resilience. Indeed, the digital technologies allow businesses, the government, and schools to pursue operations online rather than completely shutting down. Ma'ams and sirs, this is my point right now. If the school will not deliver education in the online manner, or will not adopt what we call digitalization, some schools literally, logically, and it's already what actually already happened, some schools in the country already shut down, right? Here, because there's a need. The government and the schools to pursue, in order for the schools to pursue operations online, right? Rather than completely shutting down. Our schools are thriving right now, ma'ams and sirs, to efficiently and effectively deliver education in the middle of pandemic, right? Rather than these schools will shut down because of because of the restrictions. Face-to-face interactions are being restricted. This is the reason why, ma'ams and sirs. All right. Again, let me share this to everyone. The need to act on the digital economy, which includes our digital education, is urgent. I wish I was able to impart this advocacy to everyone, dear educators. Here, let me just stop for a while and let's have at least a reflective question, right? Let me just stop for a while in order for our dear teachers to digest what we have discussed earlier. It's almost 1 hour of terminologies and discussion. So let's just pause for a while and reflect and think. Here, think of the impact of technology. Think about the impact of technology on your life. Below are a few questions to get you thinking. You may want to jot down your ideas, right? At least we will be a two-way interactions, ma'ams and sirs, rather than I'm just speaking here and you are just listening. It would be great for an effective discussion to be a two-way approach, right? So here, again, you may want to jot down your ideas. At the end of this lesson, you'll reflect and set a goal, right? These are the suggested reflective questions, ma'ams and sirs. How technology affected your life. Identify one way technology has saved you time and made you more efficient. Why and how technology can support the work or the teaching that you currently do. So these are the reflective questions that we have right now, ma'ams and sirs, in order for us to at least empower ourselves, right, in terms of digitalization. I would totally agree, right? For the past year, we are conducting online, right? Online class. And right now, after a year, it's getting boring, right, ma'ams and sirs? Because because of the less interaction, you cannot talk to your students, or you cannot at least feel the physical presence of your students, right? Sometimes our students would like to save their bandwidth. That's why they off their cameras, right? And a certain class session or class hour will end without seeing your students, even virtually, without hearing their voices, right? That's part of our reality, ma'ams and sirs, right? In my case, for example, I am teaching for a certain semester, and after a certain semester, I cannot even recognize each of my students. Why? Because it would be easily for us to recognize students or faces in a physical interaction, ma'ams and sirs. So this is the factor which contributes to what we call boredom in terms of online class, ma'ams and sirs. Right? So in this, probably after a year of doing online class, at least we need to think of of possible ways and means on how to innovate. Again, let me give you these questions. How technology affected your life, right? Why and how technology can support the work you currently do. Can you please identify one way technology has saved you time and made you more efficient? I will leave these questions to everyone and proceed to my next discussion. Here, let me just drink water, ma'ams and sirs. Please give example of virtual technologies that we are using nowadays, right? So please allow. I will be allowing. Okay. Thank you. Please, ma'ams and sirs, give example of virtual technologies that we are using nowadays so that we can analyze your feedbacks later on. So please, this would be a good interaction for everyone. Please log on to www.minty.com and use this code here, 31477366, in order for you to answer this question. I will probably copy this for the benefit of everyone. Give me one moment here. Let me copy the link here. So you just need to click the link, and I will also copy the code, so that you just need to copy and paste the code to the link provided. There you go, ma'ams and sirs. The link and the code to join this or to access this platform are already posted on our chat box. We just need to click that link and just copy the code, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of technology that we have right now, ma'ams and sirs, that we are enjoying or that we are currently using in delivering education. So could you please give me feedbacks, ma'ams and sirs? What are these technologies that we are using so that we can analyze your feedbacks and responses later on? All right. So let me just share feedbacks here. There you go. All right, great. Thank you so much for our early birds. Thank you so much for giving your feedback. Of course, Google Meet, our Zoom that we are using right now, right? Keep on coming, ma'ams and sirs. We will analyze your feedbacks later on. Let me just share this screen here. There you go, right? So please give example. We would like to request our dear participants to at least to give your insights, your feedbacks. You can give 2 or more feedbacks if you want, and we will analyze it later on. All right. So thank you so much. We will be waiting for the others as well. Yes, this is part of course, part of our Google Meet or part of our Google Incorporated or the Google Workspace is your Google Meet and your Sheets, Google Sheets, Facebook, virtual technology. Come on, ma'ams and sirs, in the latest digital analytics that we have coming from Hotsuite Philippines is actually the number one Facebook if we call it the number one in terms of Facebook usage and utilization, right? Philippines. As of January 2021, congratulations to everyone. Of course, because right now, most of our we use Facebook as an is a probably the more comfortable communication channel, right? And it's totally free. That's why. Mentimeter, of course, your Schoology, some of the public schools, and of course, coming from the state universities are using Schoology as their official learning management system or the LMS. Of course, the biggest that we have right now is Zoom and Google Meet, commonly and widely used platform in terms of virtual trainings or virtual conference, something like this. Your Moodle is a learning management system as well. Your Canvas, if you are familiar, one of the prestigious university in Iloilo right now is actually using Canvas. Canvas and Canva, right? There's a difference. Canvas is a learning management system. I believe Canva is a photo editor platform, right? So these are commonly interswitch or these are commonly what they call this one being confused, right? These platforms. Of course, your messenger. One thing good about here, I'm actually using Grammarly right now, ma'am, sensors for research works. It would be our deans and our mentors in the research sector, ma'am, sensors are encouraging us to use Grammarly as well, right? In order for us to filter, in order for us to at least double check the grammars and including for us to double check the spellings before submission, right? Of course, your YouTube is one of the famous channels in terms of course, educational videos, right? I believe this university LMS is a dedicated and designed LMS for a certain university, ma'am, since it's an in-house in-house learning management system designed by the people or probably the faculties of a certain university, right? So there are a lot. We have MS Teams, we do have Slido, we have WebEx, of course, and I'm waiting for something actually, ma'am, sensors, because most of my talks there's a feedback about cryptocurrency and blockchain. Would you like, or well, this is members of the academe, so basically you are not familiar with those platforms because most of my talks right now before, ma'am, sensors, a lot of people or even teachers and educators are asking about legitimacy and authenticity of blockchain and cryptocurrency as virtual technologies right now. That's part of our virtual technologies. Those are really part of virtual technologies in where more and more people are adapting those kind of technology nowadays. Those are what we call digital currency. I do have an invite or probably next month, ma'am, sisters, to talk about digital currency. So basically, we will talk about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. So, anyways, that's part out of the topic. So I'm actually just expecting that in this particular session we will have those kind of feedback. Yes, of course, PayMaya is one of our e-payment system. And what else? Whiteboard. This is part of your Google Classroom, right? This is another enhancement of our Google Classroom. Of course, your slide share, which is equivalent to your Google Slides and your PowerPoint presentation. One thing, we do have a lot of feedbacks coming from the universities, ma'am, sensors, on how to cheat-proof the exam. Probably that would be your question, ma'am, sensors. I'm expecting somebody will ask that. How to cheat-proof the exam, because the exams or assessments are being done online, there are universities who are requiring two cameras, ma'ams and sirs, right? They will focus one camera in the on screen, and they will focus another camera on the person or the students himself or herself to double check what are the activities of that particular student during the exam. So that's probably for me that actually was I'm not sure. I'm using. I would like to use the right term because I really don't want to at least inculcate that particular university. But according to some news, that would be anti-poor, ma'ams and sirs, right now, because in reality, not all students have the capacity to purchase or to use two cameras at the same time. It will also sacrifice or compromise their bandwidth their bandwidth usage for two simultaneous camera feeds. Anyways, let me go back to this. Dami ko ng ma'am sincere sa kwento. Anyways, there you go. Of course, your G Suite is I believe is considered obsolete right now because G Suite before it's Google Apps, right? Next, it was actually enhanced to G Suite for Education. Then it was recently enhanced to Google Workspace. And all the Google Sheets, the docs, and the slides that we are using right now are part of a certain package, or yes, a certain package a certain package called Google Workspace. Right here. Thank you so much, ma'ams and sirs. I will probably thank you so much for your ideas, for your insights and your feedbacks. I will save these feedbacks later on in order for me to analyze what are the commonly used virtual technologies right now relevant to education. Thank you so much, ma'ams and sirs, for your cooperation and your participation in this activity. Okay, let me just close this for now so that we can continue our discussion. There you go. And thank you so much. Let me just go back to my presentation. There you go. One moment, please. Okay, so thank you so much again, ma'ams and sirs, for the interaction. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Here. Please allow me to share this, and for the meantime,
education is evolving quickly. Education is evolving quickly. So in order to better understand these changes, Google for Education partnered with a global team of researchers to examine evidence-based shifts in classroom education. Here's what we found. Educators and parents are helping students develop new skills to problem solve, safely navigate the digital world, and prepare for future careers. And inside the classroom, there's a desire to empower students to choose what and how they learn, with classroom structures evolving to match. Technology's role is evolving as well, helping to connect schools and guardians in new ways, saving educators time and enabling innovation in schools across the globe. Join us and explore the future of the classroom.
We were not sure what would happen to us. We did not know what would happen to our pupils and our staff members.
हमें डर था कि बच्चे कहीं पीछे ना रह जाएं।
हेलो।
हम टीचरों को ही कोई नया रास्ता ढूंढना था।
we're going to work out the volume of this spring roll.
Good morning and welcome to our whole school assembly.
Let's get some learning on.
I consist of 95% water.
I am really happy to see so many people. Hi.
Ciao bambini.
El COVID nos ha llevado a innovar, a hacer cosas disruptivas, a hacer cosas diferentes.
Technology can level the playing field for children. It opens up so many avenues that they otherwise would not have been exposed to. It's hope.
I'm so proud of you. Well done.
All right. I wish I was able to share the advocacy of the future of the future classroom or the future of our digital education. Okay, let me just give me one moment here. Here, I just want to share. I would like to have a disclaimer, ma'am, since this is not advertisement about Google products or Google for Education as a platform. I'm just wish to share a logical example of what we call educational technology, or I would like to share examples of the platforms that we are using nowadays in delivering education. Once again, this is not connected or this is not an advertisement about Google products. However, ma'am, since this is the only I would wish personally, I would wish to use this, what they call this one. Give me one moment here. Let me share this screen. There we go. I would wish to share the idea, including videos coming from Google, I mean, because we do have the license to share such materials, right? Because aside from other materials from other platforms, because yours truly is actually a Google Educator level 1 and level 2, and also a Google certified trainer and a Google certified innovator. So we do have the right, the authority and license to share and to impart knowledge in terms of Google platforms. So that's the reason why this is not an advertisement. That's the reason why we are using this as a logical example of what we call educational technology, right? So moving forward, I will probably use this for the meantime before I will skip to my slide right now, ma'am, sirs, because I believe this is considered essential for me to explain the main factor that we need to consider in delivering digital education. This is a slide used during my, let me share it. There we go. This is the slide used, ma'am, sirs. I will share the excerpt of this discussion. This is a slide used during the Google for Educators Asia Pacific Summit, which I talk about connect and collaborate anywhere with Google tools for our Google educators, not only in the country, but across the Asia Pacific or ASEAN countries. So, ma'am, sirs, this is very important that we need to understand what are the factors that will contribute to the efficiency and effectiveness of delivering online education. First and foremost, here. Let me skip that for the meantime. As mentioned earlier, ma'am, sirs, that we are licensed to conduct such talk in terms of Google platforms because we do have the license as Google educators for level 1 and level 2, and we are licensed as Google certified trainer. So we have the authority to discuss such platforms, right? So that's a disclaimer, ma'am, sirs, because I'm sure this discussion is being probably feed across other platforms like your YouTube or your Facebook. It's really a must to discuss such disclaimer, right? So moving forward, this is the technicalities and the factors that we need to consider, ma'am, sirs. The word connect, this is the most important term, dear educators, right? we need to efficiently and effectively connect online with our students, right? Why? We will talk about virtual communication, which is the most essential factor in terms of digital education, right? If we fail to deliver an effective virtual, or we fail to deliver an efficient and effective virtual communication, that means our advocacy or our efforts in delivering education will be considered a failure as well. So it's really important, ma'am, sisters, to understand virtual communication, right? We define virtual communication as a mode of communication that includes the use of technology, audio and video to communicate. Let me just get my pointer again. There we go. Audio and video to communicate with people who are not physically present, right? This is the scenario that we have right now, ma'am, sisters, because our students, our dear students, are in their homes, right? Of course, because we are doing online classes and they are not physically present, right? People can be in the next room, other floor, in the neighborhood, or even miles away. That's the factor that we need to consider in terms of virtual communication. Next is collaborate, right? But this time, this is not the usual the word collaborate. We need what we call virtual collaboration, right? As you know, ma'am, sirs, as teachers, effective discussion should be a two-way process. I'm sure you will all agree with me, right? It should be a two-way process, right? In the conventional or in the face-to-face classroom that we have, it should always be a two-way process and a two-way communication, right? The teacher will discuss, the students will give feedback, right? The teacher will explain, the students will give their assessment, because that's a two-way. Educational system is a two-way process, right? That means if we will look into the perspective of online education, there should be a two-way process as well to make it more efficient. We call it virtual collaboration. A collaboration between the teachers and the students, collaboration among the students, right? Between or among their colleagues and classmates in that particular class, right? There should be virtual collaboration. According here, as discussed in the Google Educators APAC Summit, virtual collaboration is the method of collaboration between virtual team members that is carried out via technology-mediated communication. Technology-mediated communication, ma'ams and sirs. Virtual collaboration follows the same process as collaboration, but the parties involved in virtual collaboration do not physically interact and communicate exclusively through technological channels, right? So we don't have, because of the restrictions, because of the lockdowns, because of the quarantine measures set by the government for our own safety, physical interaction are actually considered probably restricted. That's why virtual collaboration is a must, because we need to communicate and collaborate exclusively using technological channels. There are a lot of technological channels, ma'am and sirs. We have your Facebook Messenger, widely used. You have your Facebook and other social media platforms. You have your Google Classroom. You have your other learning management system. You have your Canvas. You have your Schoology, and a lot more. And where? In the online classroom setup, ma'am and sirs, please think of this. For us not to get bored, for our students not to feel bored in terms of online class, we need time to time, regularly, ma'am and sirs, we need to encourage collaboration, right? Let them do just set a guidelines, just give your rubrics, ma'am and sirs, then let let them do the work, or let them do the legwork, ma'am and sirs. Let them collaborate with their colleagues. Let them collaborate with their classmates, right? In order for them to at least achieve and accomplish a certain task. This is what we call virtual collaboration. Once again, the main factors that we need to consider in terms of online education are two things, right? First, an efficient and effective virtual communication, and second is what we call virtual collaboration, right? If we fail to deliver this, ma'ams and sirs, in the right manner, that means it will be considered a failure in terms of delivering online education, right? Because here, it's a sad reality right now, ma'ams and sirs, because there are a lot of educators, right? We do have what we call two approaches in terms of delivering online education. I'm sure you're familiar with this. We have the synchronous and we do have the asynchronous. I'm out of the topic, ma'ams and sirs, but I really wanted to share this idea right now, right? In delivering online education, we have what we call two approaches. We have the synchronous and asynchronous right now, right? And most educators, I don't have, of course, please, not probably most educators, and not all, of course, right? They are fond of using the other approach, which is the asynchronous approach. Why? They will just give students assessment. They will just upload their pre-recorded videos and a PDF materials online and let their students understand, let their students read through those reading or those materials, and they will just give assessments. One thing we would like to advocate, ma'ams and sirs, synchronous approach is very important. Time to time, please do have a synchronous communication to your students, like what we are doing right now, a real-time communication in where you can discuss topics and you will get real-time feedbacks coming from your students. Again, ma'ams and sirs, please don't forget, we should be a good in delivering online education. These approaches should be combined and should be strategically utilized, ma'ams and sirs. Synchronous approach and asynchronous approach, right? So please, that's out of the topic. Anyways, let me go back. Sorry about that. Here, why do we need to do this? Again, this slide will answer your questions of why again. Digital communication is almost everything. Yes, everything during the COVID-19 pandemic, ma'ams and sirs, right? Because even in our household, we tend to chat our daughter, our mother, in a simple task, right? That we can do physically. We tend to do that because, of course, during the pandemic, digital communication is almost, not all, but of course, almost everything, right? Ongoing pandemic of COVID-19 has forced government to impose lockdown, and many people have suddenly found themselves having to reduce their physical social relations drastically. People need to make full use of digital technologies to confront the COVID-19 pandemic and address a wide range of pandemic-related issues, right? That's why, what are these pandemic-related issues, ma'ams and sirs? First and foremost, mobility or restrictions in terms of physical mobility, right? Hindi tayo makapunta anywhere we wish to go, right? Because of the lockdowns and the quarantine, and the quarantines. And digital technologies will confront these particular issues, or will be the solution in terms of these pandemic-related issues. The pandemic is compelling governments and societies to turn toward digital technologies to respond to the crisis, and increasingly is requiring governments to adopt an open government approach, and to use digital communication channels to provide reliable information on global and national COVID-19 developments. This is part of the mass media, right? This is still part of virtual communication, ma'ams and sirs. Anyways, I would like to highlight relevant aspects right now in terms of digital education, right? So let me just close this slide because this is intended for, there we go. Even in Asia Pacific conference, ma'ams and sirs, I was able to talk in a Google Educators Asia Pacific conference. We were able to discuss, we were able to collaborate, and even we were able to what they call this one, we're able to dissect ideas which pertains or relevant to digital transformation in terms of education. Okay, there's another set of slides here. Anyways, let me just give you this, ma'am and sirs. I will probably copy this link here, the URL, and post it on the chat box, right? And just anytime or in your most convenient time later on, ma'am and sirs, you can browse this page. I believe this is an essential and helpful page, and where you can get necessary information in terms of digitalization and education. And also, if you will scroll down, okay, let me do it for now. If you will scroll down, you can see important information here, like there you go, your Meet, your chat, your calendar, your Drive, docs, sheets, slides, forms, sites, and Keep, and other platforms which are included in what we call Google Workspace. This will give you an idea or brighter insights in terms of virtual collaboration and virtual communication. So please, ma'ams and sirs, in your most convenient time later on, please do read through and browse this particular page. I'm sure and rest assured this will be helpful in terms of delivering education or online education. All right, so this is the best time for me to go back to my discussion. I'm so sorry, ma'am and sirs, for the segues, but I believe those topics are still relevant and important in our discussion this afternoon. One thing that I believe, there you go. If you have questions, ma'am and sirs, we would love to hear your voices later on. Of course, we would love to hear your voices, and we would love to get questions and feedbacks to our participants later on. So if you have something pops up in your mind right now in the middle of our discussion, please feel free to lodge your questions in our chat box, and we will read it aloud later on and share it to everyone. Right here, our digital training or the digital transformation in the digital or in educational sector will not be complete, ma'ams and sirs, if we will not understand about our digital responsibilities, right? Anything in this world, ma'ams and sirs, there's a limitation, there's a responsibility behind a certain implementation, right? So there should be, this discussion will not be complete, ma'ams and sirs, right? Any digital discussion, digital transformation discussion will not be complete if I will not, or the speaker or the resource person will not explain about our digital responsibilities. What are the limitations? What are our responsibilities in doing online education and using digitized information? So what are our responsibilities? So please allow me to share the ideas on how to be safe online. It is still part of our advocacy and digital literacy, ma'ams and sirs. Okay, I'm sure. Give me one moment here. I'm searching for, there you go. I believe it's not. Oh, there you go. Here, I will just use this video, ma'ams and sirs, to give you insights what I am talking about right now. Okay, This is the restrictions, this is the limitations or our responsibility as digital educators. Okay, please watch this.
Bayan, sa halip na lecture ng teacher, mga hubad na larawan at sex video ang lumabas sa isang Zoom class ng mga grade 5 students ng isang kilalang pribadong paaralan sa Metro Manila. Katwiran ng paaralan, napasok ng mga hacker ang kanilang Zoom class. Kaya naman ang asosasyon ng mga pribadong paaralan nababahala na. Baka raw ito ang magiging new normal ngayong online na lahat ang mga klase ng mga estudyante. Narito po ang aming exclusive report. Ito ang screenshot mula sa online class ng mga grade 5 student ng isang sikat na private school sa Metro Manila. Ipinadala ito ng isang concerned citizen sa PTV. Sumbong niya, kita sa larawan ang nagtatalik na babae at lalaki. Ang masaklap ang malaswang video na panood umano ito ng lahat ng mga minor de edad na estudyante. Ilang segundo lamang tumagal ang video dahil agad itong pinutol ng IT ng school. Paliwanag nila na pasok umano sila ng hacker kung kaya biglang sumulpot ang malalaswang larawan at video habang nag-online class. Kaya naman ang asosasyon ng mga pribadong paaralan na babahala raw sa insidente lalo na ngayon na halos online na ang pinaiiral ng mga eskwelahan.
This is really very alarming. Kasi ngayon, dahil nagsusumikap tayo na makapag...
Okay, ma'am and sirs, we'll just pause the video for a while because other part of the video may not be considered relevant with our discussion right now. But I wish to share the reality right now. What is happening, right? I will wish to give due credit and highlights the source, of course, coming from an exclusive online classes or coming from this source, PTB, to give credits to the video. All right. So this is what we call our, this is where our responsibility relies, ma'am and sirs, as online educators, since we are delivering online classes, right? There are responsibilities and there are limitations. Okay, let me go back to my slide. Part of that, ma'am and sirs, please allow me to explain at least a bit on an idea about cybersecurity, because we are dealing with online information right now, and where most of our essential information are being transmitted or being shared online. That means our digital educators should understand the concept of cybersecurity. Why? Because we need to protect the data privacy of our students and of our privacy as well, data privacy. So again, as mentioned earlier, the discussion will not be complete if I will not explain about our digital responsibility. First and foremost, we need to understand cybersecurity, ma'am and sirs. What is this all about, right? I will just discuss cybersecurity relevant to digital education right now. Okay, of course, netiquette is part of your cybersecurity, and where this is the good manners and right conduct or the online etiquette, right? According here, the netiquette is the correct or acceptable way of communicating online on the internet. I'm sure you are familiar about this, ma'am and sirs, so I will just skip to the next slide in order for us to save time, right? This is, I would love to share cybersecurity concepts using this infographics here. According here, cybersecurity refers to the body of knowledge, body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. Ma'ams and sirs, our dear educators, if we are doing an online class, we need to understand the concept of cybersecurity. And this is something like this. If this is your online class or this is your data, right? This computer represents your data and your students' essential data, ma'ams and sirs. And these are what we call online intruders, right? Cybersecurity, this blue colored or interconnected or broken lines here, right? is what we call or represent cybersecurity. And it is very important to understand because it will protect our essential and sensitive information online, ma'ams and sirs. Moving forward, here. Why? Because although we are enjoying the perks, the benefits of internet right now, there are still danger that we need to anticipate and that we need to understand. Right? There are dangers of the internet. First and foremost, I will probably skip this for us to save time. First and foremost, ma'ams and sirs, what are the information in terms of online communication, online class? What are the information that we need to maintain sensitive? This is the factor of what we call data privacy. According here, any information about you can be considered be your data. This personal information can uniquely identify you as an individual. This data includes pictures and messages that you exchange with your family and friends online. Here, I would love to share, or I would love to discuss data privacy using this infographics here. In the online world, ma'ams and sirs, since we are doing online classes, in the online world, these are the information that we need to keep private, that we need to understand data privacy. First, your medical data. What are these medical data? I will give you a logical example, ma'ams and sirs, here. I'm actually the, at least give you a logical example, ma'ams and sirs. I'm currently the regional project lead and the focal person of the implementation of the vaccine information management system all over the region, and where we are consolidating all the information about inoculation and vaccination efforts of the government across the region. And most of our friends right now, ma'ams and sirs, we are very proud that we are vaccinated, right? We are very proud, and we wish to share that particular feeling on social media. That's why we are posting our vaccination cards. It's okay because we wish to encourage vaccination, and I'm an advocate of vaccination efforts, ma'ams and sirs, right? We wish to, there are a lot of friends on social media that are posting their vaccination cards online. Vaccination card is considered our medical data, right? They are posting the entire vaccination cards, which includes their date of birth, which includes the license number of the medical practitioners who actually did the inoculation, yung nagbakuna po na mga doctor, nurses, and other medical practitioners. If you have the vaccination cards, ma'ams and sirs, check there are license numbers indicated in there. Those are sensitive information which should not be posted online. So just in case, we are very proud, and we must be proud, right? Posting our vaccination cards online, we should at least cover those sensitive information like our mother's maiden name and date of birth, because that is the secondary, that would be the secondary verification, secondary verification factor in order for our email to be open, right? Or to validate our email. For example, I'm sure you are familiar with this. If you forgot your password, if you forgot your username, the system like Google will require you to encode your mother's maiden name, encode your date of birth. If other people will have an idea of those sensitive information, they can use it against you, right? What do we mean by this? They can open your Gmail. By opening your Gmail, they can access your ATM accounts. They can access your social media accounts. They can access your financial data, which are connected to your email, right? And this email can be opened by this information using your mother's maiden name and your date of birth. So these are interconnected risks, ma'ams and sirs. Again, so super layo na, no, ma'ams and sirs, I'm sorry. I wanted you to get the brighter perspective. Going back, medical data, our vaccination card is considered our medical data, and not all information should be posted online. If we are very proud that we are vaccinated, I am very proud as well, right? Please cover the sensitive information before posting. I will tell you why later on. Employment records should be considered sensitive, but of course there are limitations because I do have my online portfolio where I am posting my employment records, of course, for my online portfolio where I'm posting my employment records, but there should be limitations, ma'ams and sirs, right? There should be limitations in the information being posted online. Your information online, your identity, like your sensitive identity as mentioned earlier, your place of birth, your SSS number, your passport number, and all the likes. That's considered your online identity. Your educational data, and most especially, ma'ams and sirs, financial data is considered very sensitive, and where most online intruders, right, they wish to capture and they wish to have your financial information to access your financial data, right? So we need to be, as digital citizens of this country, ma'ams and sirs, we need to make sure that these information are secured, and we need to make sure that these information are maintained sensitive and confidential. There we go. Why? Because if this information will be given or will be accessed by online intruders, this is the consequence, ma'ams and sirs. Invasion of privacy. Like what we have in the online class that we have, like what we have in the video earlier in the online class. Because most probably the links were posted online, the links were given to unauthorized student or users or unauthorized online citizen, something like that. That means the privacy is supposed to be within the classroom, right? Or within that particular class, the teacher and his or her students. That's the group, or that's the inclusion, that's the privacy, ma'ams and sirs. However, because most probably the link is posted in online or in unauthorized sites, or probably shared in any unauthorized and not legit platforms, that's why there is what we call invasion of privacy. That's the logical example in the video, ma'ams and sirs, right? And where the online class, the legit online class, is being invaded by online attackers and feeding inappropriate videos. So again, this is the risk online or an invasion of privacy. Identity theft, online fraud, of course, computer viruses, and phishing. This is common in the educational system right now, ma'ams and sirs. We receive complaints in the Cybersecurity Bureau coming from the academe that they are their identity is being stolen by other people to gain financial interest or to get financial interest, something like that. Because a certain I'm thinking if I can give you this example, or this case is considered sensitive. Anyways, there's a teacher who actually complained that his identity was being stolen online because his profile pictures and all the pictures or all the photos online is being captured and probably being there's a new creation of a certain online account, right? And this particular teacher is being fraudly represented to his students, and they are proud. In that particular case, I'm so sorry, ma'ams and sirs, I'm using the right story right now in order for me not to divulge the case that we were able to handle in terms of the educational system cybersecurity, data privacy, or invasion measures. But to cut the story short, this particular student or this particular teacher was the identity was being stolen, and his representation was actually captured a lot of enormous complaints from his students, from the parents, right? So we need to make sure that this is the risk of online education and even any other online transaction, ma'am, since there's identity theft, that you are being represented by other people to get, most probably, to gain financial interest. Here, of course, part of that risk is online fraud, computer viruses, phishing. I wish to get this opportunity, ma'am, sincers, to our dear educators. I hope you can share this advocacy as well to your dear students. According to the DICT Cybersecurity Bureau, we released an advisory that, let me read this, as there have been reports regarding the fraudulent practice utilizing social media accounts to induce friends and relatives in social media to send money or reveal personal information. The DICT Cybersecurity Bureau urges the public to observe the following cybersecurity tips. Be wary of fake accounts, right? Members and sirs, is not always accept friends' requests. We need to double check, right? We need to double check, ma'am, and sirs, if this is a legit account, right? For me, in my perspective, I always check if we do have mutual friends. That only means if you do have mutual friends, this is mostly a legit account because you belong in a certain circle of friends, right? Rather than you receive a online friend request without any mutual friends. That means there's something fishy behind that particular request. Probably it's networking, most probably, or it will be the first step of what we call online fraud. So again, please be wary of fake accounts for our dear educators. Validate the person's identity and request before, of course, before giving what is being requested. Be wary of scams or beware of scams. Ma'am, sirs, this is very important to our educators and our researchers. Please do visit our Data Privacy Commission, the National Privacy Commission, in order for us to understand that what we call data privacy in terms of online education. Okay, just scroll down and browse the pages of this of the NTC, so that we will be enlightened. What are the limitations? What are the restrictions? What are the do's and don'ts in conducting an online class, so that we can mitigate the possibility of having the same scenario sa video na pinakita natin earlier, ma'am, sirs. Right? So I would love to share this bingo, this data privacy bingo, which is applicable to everyone, ma'am, sirs. Probably I will just take 5 minutes to discuss this. I believe we still have time here. This is a bingo or a strategic infographics given by the National Privacy Commission, ma'am, sirs, in order for us to secure our students' identity, in order for us to secure our very own online privacy as well. Okay, so let's have fun with this bingo, ma'am, sirs. According here, first part is for us to make sure that we were able to enable two-factor authentication, right? What do we mean by two-factor authentication? There should be two series of authentication, ma'am, sirs. First, of course, this is being adopted by banks right now, and where the first factor authentication, you have the physical card. Second factor authentication is that you have your PIN code or your ATM details. That would be a logical example in the banking sector of a two-factor authentication. But in the educational context, dear educators, we need to enable two-factor authentication. That means we need to set a reliable and password, and at the same time, we need to secure information in a certain classroom only which can only be accessed by our students. Anyways, moving forward, my password doesn't contain personal information. If you do this, then you can actually write down this part of the bingo card. My password doesn't contain personal information. What do you mean by personal information? Right? Your password is your date of birth. It's obvious. Your password is your first name. It's obvious because that's your personal information, right? It's nonsense, ma'ams and sirs. Your password is your full name. It's obvious, right? So please don't do that. Okay, to protect our online passwords, especially in our online accounts or especially in the online classroom. Why? Because there's an instance that a certain teacher, we have this instance, ma'ams and sirs. I will share this. We have this case. In a Google Classroom, of course, you have the teacher account and you have the student's account, right? But a certain student, an IT savvy student, were able to access the teacher account because that particular teacher's password is so obvious. The full name of the teacher and 1, 2, 3, 4. Obvious, right? And this particular student were able to access the teacher's account and all of the assessments, and including the grade sheets, including the answer keys in the teacher's account, which is supposed to be accessed by teacher's accounts, is being accessed by that particular student. And the worst case scenario, ma'ams and sirs, those information is being shared not only in the classroom, but to other classrooms or to other classes as well. So that's the start of cheating, right? So we don't want that to happen. Okay, I wish I would really love to give more information, but with respect to our limited time, let me skip to the next point here. I destroy shipping labels of items ordered online, right? Example. Here, if you were able to watch 24 Horas, Bitoy was actually being interviewed because he was not able to destroy the shipping label, and he was surprisingly received a package, right? Surprisingly received a package, right? Coming from a known source delivering a certain item, right? Because the shipping label is being used by by an online scammer to deliver a certain package. That's a logical example happening nationwide. Okay, and also broadcasted in the mainstream media. That's 24 Oras na si Bitoy po yung na-interview, and he encountered this kind of online scam. Rarely access non-HTTPS websites. That means this is not a secure website. So please make sure you access HTTP websites for our researchers, right? Because researchers right now are most probably in my own research as well. I tend to make sure that I will get necessary information, essential information in a reliable, legit website. So one of the clue that we have in online search is to use an HTTPS website, right? Never click suspicious links, of course, because if you click suspicious links, this happened before, if you could remember our lab bug, right? Sent into emails, that's probably year 2000. If you click suspicious links from unintended recipients, that particular link might carry or might have a virus or online or a computer virus attachment. So we don't want that to happen. So I change my password regularly. I read privacy policies as always. Ma'ams and sirs, for example, if we wish to download a certain online platform, if we wish to download a certain classroom or a learning management system, we tend to download everything and just click yes, 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 and the likes. Then we already downloaded everything without giving consideration to the privacy policies. This is very important, ma'ams and sirs. The terms and conditions, although it's lengthy, right? But we need to proceed to what we call privacy policies because these are important. We need to read through the provisions relative to privacy policies before clicking agree and download. Right? My antivirus software is updated. I don't answer unsolicited calls. I update my privacy settings often. Ma'am, sirs, in your Facebook account, please make sure to update your privacy settings, right? In our social media accounts, please make sure to do that. I don't share personal information to strangers easily, of course. I use password manager. If we do have multiple password coming from different platforms, different accounts, please make sure to manage your password and make sure to store or save that password in a confidential manner. Of course, to like and read the National Privacy Commission pages, my password is longer than 8 characters. Let me just skip this for a while, ma'am, since I am now pressured over time because I really wish to explain more details, but of course, with the context of our time allotment right now, we wish to skip this for now and highlight most important details. I use firewall. I back up my data. So ma'am, sirs, if you were able to do all of these things in terms of data privacy, you can definitely shout bingo right now. And of course, you are safe online, right? So I hope I was able to give you insights in terms of our digital responsibility in doing our online classes, and not only in our online classes and other online endeavors. In our digital transformation, ma'am, sirs, the only wrong move when it comes to digital transformation is not to make any move at all, right? Again, if we paraphrase this, that means we need to act now. We need to do something now in terms of adopting digital transformation. Again, let's move forward together towards a more digitally empowered society. Dear colleagues and dear educators and teachers, thank you so much. That's all, and to God be all the glory. Have a great day, everyone.
Okay, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Joel Garcera on his talk about digital transformation, the future of digital education. Okay, again, our session for this afternoon is only allocated for 2 hours. We will cater to as many questions as possible, depending on the availability of our time. We will select questions raised by our participants here in Zoom and in YouTube. And to those who will be tapped to ask questions, I would like you to introduce yourself first, the institution where you are affiliated with, and your question. And to those who would like also to remain anonymous and wanted to raise a question, we have slido.com. Do we have a code now, Sir Jean? Okay, kindly go to slido.com, hashtag 134979. Okay, so while waiting for the questions to appear, allow me also to greet the participants we have here in YouTube. We have Ma'am Elizabeth Castro from Labrador, Pangasinan, Ma'am Elaine Anzores from Iloilo State College of Fisheries, Ma'am Lyomi Lagrosas from Colegio de Iligan, Sir Biligardo Paculanang from Taguig City. Okay, we have also Ma'am Maria Verna Prosperoso from Philippine State College of Aeronautics in Villamor, Pasay City. We also have Ma'am Maria Vanessa Mendoza from Norzagaray College in Norzagaray, Bulacan. So we have active participants also who are monitoring us in YouTube and also here in Zoom. Okay, again, let's go back to the discussion of Engineer Joel Garcera. To our participants here who would like to personally ask questions, kindly again press the raise hand button. We would like our discussion here to be as interactive as possible. Okay, so Sir Joel, there was like a discussion about data privacy and cybersecurity and also invasion of privacy. I like the idea that you managed to integrate it in our discussion, basically because like in the university, for example, we heard lots of cases that the guilty actually are not only the students, but also the teachers. especially in violating data privacy, like on simple action, for instance, like the sharing of the students' activities or projects in Facebook or in other social media without now the consent of the students themselves. So we have those who would think of it that they are also being violated, and again, it is us teachers who are not aware of concepts like those. So I like the idea that Engineer Joel Garcera was able to integrate it. Would you like to share something, Doc, about cases like, sir, about cases like that?
Thank you, sir, for at least the appreciation, sir. Yes, sir. Would love to share cases about that. However, I would wish not to divulge information, but I totally agree with you, sir, that there are a lot of cases in terms of invasion or in terms of violation of what we call data privacy to our universities, to our schools, and even our private institutions in the country. And one thing very common to our students, sir, because dear students, if or probably we can share this to our dear students, is about plagiarism. Ma'am, sirs, this is the common mistake of our dear students. It's a sad truth in where they are just copying intellectual property like context of the books. They are posting it online, and where this particular intellectual property should be given, or should have give credits to the author or to the source of that particular information. So if we don't do that, then that will be considered plagiarism or invasion of what we called, or violation of what we called intellectual property, sir. This is common to our students nowadays. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have a question here appearing in Zoom. We have from Sir Noel Benavides. Sir, are we ready to transform our education system digitally, especially the public school? What do you think of that, sir?
All right. Thank you, sir. This is a very good question. This is a yes, a good question, right, ma'am, sisters? Are the government, are the educational institution like our Commission on Higher Education, like the Department of Education, are ready towards transforming entirely our educational system into a digital approach, something like that? The question, ma'am, sisters, are the answer is a yes and a no, right? Yes, we are ready in terms of intellectual readiness, but unfortunately, we are not that ready. We are going there, yes, of course. We are not ready in terms of IT infrastructure. What do you mean by this, ma'am, sirs, IT infrastructure? I believe we do have the scarcity, yes, a scarcity in terms of online equipment like your laptops, your tablets towards, and not all students has or have the capacity to purchase one or to buy one that they can use for online classes. That's a sad truth. That's a sad reality. And I'm sure I really wish, but of course, I wish not to divulge something now, ma'am, sirs. But of course, I'm sure our government is doing their best to address this kind of concern. Sir, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for the question, Sir Noel.
Okay, so sir, we have here one participant who is raising his hand here in Zoom. We have Sir Mark Richie Celsius Cuento Achon. Sir Mark, you're recognized.
Okay. Thank you po, sir. No? Thank you po, sir, for recognizing. And I just want to ask, sir, because I love the clear discussion po about digitalization, and digital transformation. But I attended some conferences and there were different viewpoints. No, for example, an anthropologist mentioned that digitalization underlines inequality, right? An interregional organization mentioned about the issues on afford and access. There are also issues about digital literacy in contrast to just having educational technology, because those are two very different terms. Now, so as a technology expert, sir, may I know your perspective about, do you think in the near future, digitalization would be more of an equalizer or a polarizer when it comes to education. Because for us educators, we value inclusivity and equity. And nowadays we're experiencing that. Yeah, we know that there's really the push for digital transformation. Everyone loves that. But going there are many issues. So my question is, what do you think, sir, from your perspective, being a technology expert, do you think our country is on its way to use digitalization to become more of an equalizer or a polarizer in terms of education and society? Thank you, po.
All right, Sir Mark, I really do appreciate your question. Thank you so much, sir. That's a very good question, sir. Now, in terms of uh, a different perspective towards digital transformation. Thank you so much, sir. I believe we are referring right now to, as mentioned earlier, we were able to conduct talks in terms of digital transformation in across other sectors of our society, sir. We were able to conduct talks about digital transformation in the business sector, in the consumer sector, in the tourism sector, and even in the workforce or our digital workforce. And in the context of digital education, sir, I would totally agree, and I would say that I am confident that the context that were stated earlier towards digital transformation is relevant and essential in the appropriate context that we can use in terms of delivering digital education, sir. So basically, again, there are a lot of contexts, there are a lot of philosophies in terms of understanding digital transformation, and that would vary depending on the aspect of a certain society, right? So basically, for now, I would totally admit, sir, either it's an equalizer or a polarizer. I would totally admit that it would be it's not that substantial as of the moment, or it's not that we cannot foresee this as of the moment, right? Because we are still in the process. We are still in the perspective of heading towards digital transformation. We are in the step of the way, sir. So that means if the sectors of the government, sectors of our private sectors, in other sectors of the society, including the vulnerable sector, including the educational sectors, or were broaden their perspective in terms of adopting digital transformation, one thing, and rest assured, this is our future, sir. This is the future of the Philippines, right? In order for us to be competitive globally. Sir, thank you so much for the question, sir. I wish I was able to address your concern and question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, may I have a follow-up question, sir? Just one follow-up question. Is it okay? May I
Okay, Sir Mark.
Thank you, Paisai, for another opportunity. Sir, so in that case, aside from investing, no, because you were mentioning about investing, well, that's really the capital. We need a lot of capital. But how about ordinary people? What could you recommend for ordinary people to be ready? Because this is a societal effort, right? So aside from investment, what do you think, sir? What specific measures do you think should ordinary people do to be able to be abreast, no, to this side of digitalization? Thank you, po. Thank
Sir
you,
Mark, thank you so much, sir. That's a very good question, sir. I totally agree with you, sir. For me, sir, since this is a societal concern and issue, sir, I would totally agree, sir. If I would love to share the advocacy, sir, for an ordinary individual like you and me, sir, the best thing that we need to do, sir, is to advocate digital literacy in all walks of life. What do we mean by digital literacy, sir? Okay, sir, there are marginalized sectors in this society, sir, who don't even know how to use computers or don't even know how to use social media accounts, sir, in which most of the processes that we have right now in this society is being done online. So in a perspective of an ordinary individual, sir, I would love to share the advocacy, sir. Please do share what we call digital literacy. across all sectors of our society. Sir, to our students, to the marginalized, to the vulnerable sector. What do you mean by this, sir? We were able, it's part of my advocacy, sir, as an individual, sir, as an ordinary individual, sir. It's part of our advocacy, sir, to conduct digital literacy to our PWD, persons with disabilities, sir. Digital literacy to our senior citizens, sir. These are considered the vulnerable sectors. These people, sir, or this sector of the society should be informed as well, sir, with their digital rights and this digital responsibility. And we will start from digital literacy, sir. Sir Mark, I salute you for raising that question, sir. Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat po. Thank you po.
Sir, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, there you have it. Thank you, Sir Mark, for your active participation. I think we will cater one last question appearing here in slido.com. We still have many questions actually appearing, but then again, we will stick with the allocated time we have for our afternoon session. Can you have the question now from Slido, Sir Jean? I think the question is no longer visible. So there was a question appearing here in Slido a while ago. I think the one who raised the question decided to delete the question. So with that, we will have this question coming from Ivy Diaz as the last question. And we will have it also as a question that will provide Engineer Garcera his concluding words to our session this afternoon. Sir, can you shine in our country?
Thank you so much, sir. Yes. In terms of challenges, barriers in the field of digital education's MEMS and sirs, one thing I would like to share and I would like to answer that question is our digital infrastructure. What do you mean by infrastructure? Our information infrastructure, right? I'm sure I am part of the Department of Information and Communications Technology. Our advocacy is to digitalize the government, digitalize the other sectors of the society, MEMS and sirs, right? However, we do understand this limitation. We do understand these challenges that we need to enhance. We need to improve our infrastructure. What do you mean by this information infrastructure? Our citizens should be equipped with this, first and foremost, with proper and stable internet connection. This will start everything. This will be an ideal setup in terms of online communication, MEMS and sirs. And of course, our other sectors should be at least given access towards digital platforms or towards digital equipments, right? This is the scenario or the challenges that we are encountering right now, and I'm sure the government is doing its best to solve and to resolve and even to give to address this kind of concerns right now. So I believe, as mentioned by Sir Say earlier, this would be the last question. I would wish to give a conclusion or a conclusion to what we have discussed, MEMS and sirs. Thank you so much, Sir Mark, and thank you so much, our dear educators, for the questions. We would love to hear your voices, and we would love to answer the questions that you may have right now, MEMS and sirs. Right. So, but due to the limited time we have, probably we will save those questions, and we will probably we'll think of an avenue to answer that questions. I'm sure this is not yet the last, and I'm sure we will see each other again in the next talk or in the next session that we will probably schedule or that we will be probably organizing in the next future. MEMS and sirs, again, our advocacy. Let's get together and let's move forward towards a more digitally empowered society. Thank you so much, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Engineer Joel Garcera on his talk about digital transformation, the future of digital education. Engineer Garcera is an educator, trainer, innovator, and was awarded iconic professor for his contribution in the field of digital education from the World Education Awards. Okay, again, virtual applause to Engineer Joel Garcera. I hope that it will persuade us and give us the drive and the motivation to embrace the challenges and connive to the challenges brought to us by this pandemic and of digitalization on education. Okay, let's proceed now to the giving of certificate. The Philippine Institute of 21st Century Educators Incorporated awards the Certificate of Recognition to Joel B. Garcera, PCPE MMIT, for imparting his invaluable time, resources, and expertise as resource speaker on the topic Digital Transformation, the Future of Digital Education during the conduct of National Virtual Training Conference on Digitalization of Education for 21st century researchers and educators, accorded this 29th day of October 2021 via Zoom video conferencing live streamed on POMI YouTube channel and PAIS I-21 Facebook page. Signed, Ricky A. Kibinko, MAT LPT, Virtual Conference Director, and Emijan P. Indonila Palmani, MEd LPT, National President of PAIS I-21. Again, round of applause to Engineer Joel P. Garcera. Again, sir, we are looking forward to seeing you again on future gathering of our organization. Before we finally close our afternoon session for day one of the conference, again, let me inform you that for you to get the certificate of participation for our first day sessions, you are expected to submit first the evaluation form. May I request everyone now to kindly open your camera for a quick photo op with our speaker. At the count of 10, it would be ideal for our participants to appear here in Zoom. 1,
Okay,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, to our technical members. So Jean, please do the honor.
We have two panels. From panel 1, smile. Panel 2, smile. Thank you.
Okay, stay safe, everyone. See you 10 a.m. tomorrow. God bless and congratulations.
Thank you po.
Good night, everyone. Bye.